Today's going to be a good one, man. We're going to talk about losing, being a loser, and why I think you should be the biggest loser. I'm not talking about any type of weight loss or anything. I'm talking about the power of losing and how sometimes you need to lose more so that you can actually win.
The Creator Podcast.
My name is Dion Williams, aka Dion Does, and I truly believe that we were all created in the image of the ultimate creator, and therefore it's in us all to create. And this show aims to help you and I both level up in this four-dimensional game of life so that we can go out and create for good, whether that's for ourselves, our family, the community around us, but all of this a part of a generational vision of a family of creators coming together to be the difference. Creator family, how's it going? How's your mama? I appreciate you guys checking in to the Creator Podcast. Hopefully you are making this a part of your daily activities. And shout out to some of the testimonials I've been getting lately, man. It's a blessing to, even get the tweets, the comments, the DMs, all the stuff of how the podcast is helping people. But I don't think I understood the deepness of it, right? The level that it was really helping people. And I thought that was a blessing, man. Just to really see that this is really making a big difference. For some of you guys, that means the world. I mean, big or small difference, I'm appreciative. It's just cool to see, man. So thank you for those. Thank you for all the 5-star ratings. Keep those up. Keep all the written comments. All that stuff helps. Some people are brand new. They're just scrolling through looking for a new podcast, and to see other people saying good things about it, it's helpful. They're like, I might check this out then. Sound like this ninja actually know what he's talking about. And speaking of talking about, today I want to talk about sacrifice. I was having a conversation with someone, and I could have sworn I talked about this. And they were actually telling me how much the podcast helps them. And they had a question as well. And I said, are you sure? I was like, I think I talked about that in one of the episodes. It was like, I've caught all the episodes. You ain't talk about it. I was like, I think I did. They're like, no, I think you didn't. I was like, you might have just missed it. No, I didn't miss it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna talk about it again. That's a blessing, man. We're so many episodes deep that I kind of forget some of them. And even when I go back and read the titles, I'm like, ooh, that is a great title. What did I talk about in there? I don't ever sit down with notes, I'd like to hope I at least halfway know what I'm talking about. And so when I get inspiration, I just keep a long list of things, and I just go through them. Or if I have conversations like this that inspire me, I'll add it to my list and I'll do it. And so maybe I have talked about this, but I don't think I did. And maybe not from this, or I think I did, but maybe I didn't. And, if not, and maybe I thought I did because I said it, but I didn't say it in this exact way. And that's what we're going to have a lot. I'll readdress certain issues. Sometimes I might just forget I did it, and I'm going to redo an entire idea. That's going to happen, by the way. I'm going to forget. But that'll be a good thing. It'll be a solid reminder. And if I do hit the same thing from a different angle, I think that's good, not bad. So the message that I kind of gave to him. So the rest of this episode is basically the rest of my conversation with him. And we're talking about sacrifice and how important that is. And that's just the word I would use for it, sacrificing. But sometimes the world will say that, hey, you held an L, or you took an L, or you lost in that situation. And I think that's a very dangerous way to look at it, because no one wants to take an L, at least with that kind of terminology, right? It just sounds bad. It feels bad. People just label it as bad. Like, you lost. And even when we talk crap, right, we're going to say, yeah, I beat you. Hold that L, you loser. But in reality, depending, right? And there's certain things you don't want to lose at. But all things, you don't need to win every single game. And every single mini game inside of this game called life. Because I may be called to win a game that you don't need to win. Right? For some people, they are winning the game of, I don't know, stuff that I've always really appreciated, because I don't really have the heart for it, are the people that are like super, super passionate about making sure that the animals are okay. Right? Like, I think that's amazing that people that are like, save the whales, save the chimpanzees. I actually think that's closer to what we should be doing when the Bible's giving us dominion, right, of this earth. I think that's what it looks like, being good stewards of it, taking care of the animals. But if I'm being honest, like, just naturally, my default with how I grew up, I'm not too worried about the dolphins. But I feel like I should be, and we should be, as humans, and it's dope that they're handling that. Those are games that they're winning. I don't really, like, my wife did the whole swim with dolphins with SeaWorld, and it was such an amazing moment, and I'm sure if she talks about it, it's like so poetic. You know, they were like, you know, do you want to swim with dolphins? I don't want to swim with no motherfucking dolphins. I don't care. No disrespect to anyone that does, right? That's not my point. I'm just saying I'm different. Like, I'm good, Chief. I could barely swim. I don't even know if you could say that I can officially swim. I don't really know what I do when I get in water. I'm just in survival mode, and sometimes it works. And so I don't need to swim with the dolphins. If my wife's probably gonna make me one day with our kids or something, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna smile in the pictures. You can be like, man, if I see you in the pictures, you smiling with the dolphins. I didn't give a fluff about the dolphin, right? I was just, my wife made me. but someone else is winning that game, right? And there's certain games that you're following someone on Instagram who has a game that they're supposed to win, and they're winning it, and you feel this pressure like you got to be that way. Like, you follow a dude that's got the super 6-pack, he got the 8-pack, right? Shredded, point or negative 84% body fat. And you hate yourself because you're not doing that. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe you had another game you're winning, right? And so I want to be clear, though. We don't just want to be okay with losing at certain things. We got to get close to our purpose and lock in and know what's our story and what our race is and what our pace is for our situation. But then there's common things that we don't want to lose, right? We don't want to lose, like, you don't want to go on a killing spree, be a serial killer, be like, oh, this was my game, or the game of not killing people just wasn't my game to win. Nah, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying there. But we are saying we need to be careful with comparison, and we do need to understand the power of sacrifice. And so, and that's closer to what I was talking about with this individual, is that, hey, you might need to sacrifice some things that you were used to winning at, and something that you still want to win at long term for a season, so that you can make progress in this other area, right? That's a process of pruning, right? When I first learned this, I didn't, and I've never pruned anything in my life, right? But from how it was explained to me, sometimes when you're pruning like fruit, of course, you got to get all the stuff that's dead and bad and horrible, but you might actually have to prune some things that aren't all bad. There might be some good there, but that's so the ones that are doing better can actually flourish. And so sometimes we got to know, yeah, maybe I need to sacrifice a few things that I really enjoy paying for, and I probably could, if I wanted to, I could make it work, but I'm in debt right now, so I need to prioritize getting out of debt. I got a lot of bad debt, so let's sacrifice some of these things. Some things that are good. They might even bring good to my life, right? Maybe you have the newest iPhone and all the super duper features are good. They're not bad. They're not hurting you, but you may not need them in this season. You're trying to get your finances right, so you're going to downgrade or something like that. I was talking to someone. This was actually a different individual, but they were really beating themselves up for the kind of parent they were being because they were in a tough financial season. That's it, just a season. It was a season of struggle. They haven't always struggled, but for this season, things were tough. The COVID-19 happened. And they were like, man, I'm not getting home as much as I want, and I don't feel like I'm as involved, right? I'm being a bad parent. And this is coming from someone who's really, really struggled with this. And my wife's helped me a lot in this. And sometimes it's okay for you to say, I'm air quoting here when I say this, I'm going to take an L in my parenting, what people might call an L, right? Because you're taking a step back. Not as much focus is over there. So instead of being there every time they go to bed and get to read an hour-long bedtime story, and then you guys wrestle for 30 minutes, and then you're there in the morning and you get to have breakfast and all this amazing stuff, and then you're on your lunch break, you guys hang out and watch YouTube and do TikToks. Maybe you're not able to do that, and it's just in the morning or at night, or it's less, right? You can have you can say, you know what, I got to take some focus off of there, so I'm going to be taking the L so that I can get my family through this tough financial season, right? And in that, of course, you want to have certain ways. Like, you don't want to go missing, right? You don't want your kids to never see you, but you may feel like you're taking an L in a certain area, but it's so that you can win elsewhere. And maybe you're looking at someone else, and they may be older than you, and they're legit living a 4-dimensional lifestyle, right? Their faith, relationships, energy, and economics seem to be in order, and they're thriving. Here's what you may not know. They didn't come out the womb. They weren't born 4-dimensional, right? Mastering these different areas, it may have taken them time. If you would rewind the clock, maybe even just a few years, they may have been 3-dimensional. You rewind 10, they might have been 2-dimensional. You rewind 15, they may have been a 1-dimensional being, a 1-dimensional creator, and then it took time. And so sometimes we need to understand that you may have to hold this L on your summer body so that you can get your business off the ground, right? You guys are going to hear me be distracted for like 30 more seconds. I'm trying to turn this air off. It just turned on. But you may have to hold an L for a season. And I've ranted over 10 minutes, and I didn't even get to our principle here, but it's a good one. And then we're going to get right into putting some action to this principle. So our principle goes, if you don't sacrifice what you want will become the sacrifice. One more time for you, just because I like to replay, just in case you didn't hear it. I ain't going to make you rewind, because you kind of like, ooh, run that back. Don't worry, I got you. If you don't sacrifice for what you want will become the sacrifice. And so where might you need to take an L in one area just so you can take a dub in the next? All right, this is the part of the podcast where we call it putting some feet to it. And what that means simply is to just put some to take action, to take what you learned, which is the power of sacrifice, and maybe taking an L, I'm air quoting, so that you can win somewhere else. All right. So we usually pull out our creator frame, go over our faith, relationships, energy, economics, and we're going to do that. But first, I want you to get clear on the vision. Understand, what am I like? Not only what am I trying to do overall with my life, right? And so not only that, but also what am I trying to do in this season? Because sometimes a good football coach, or a coach in general, any kind of sports coach, may inherit a team from someone else, right? May not have the same roster that they would have built. Maybe doesn't have the same coaching staff that they would like to use. And so they understand that, hey, as I'm coming into this situation right now, it's not realistic for us to win the championship. Our chances of winning the championship this first year are not very good. But the goal of this season is to get us closer, so that maybe next year we can make another move for that year after that will finally put us in a position to maybe win a championship. So that's why we got to have vision. We need to talk about vision a lot more, but vision is where it all starts. So where are you trying to go? And then based off where you're trying to go, what are you trying to do in this season? What's the targets you're trying to hit for this year? All right, we got to get clear on that. And once we've got clear on that, now we start to look across our creator frame, which is our faith, relationships, energy, economics. And I want you to kind of just scan it and look for areas that are wrapped into your primary focus. Pick like one or two, right? For this season, what two are important to me? And then after the 1 and 2, start listing other things that you're focusing on. So is it really important for you to build a business in this season? Would you say that that's like your main priority? But then you're also trying to get your black belt in jiu-jitsu and lose 30 pounds and grind Fortnite and, coach your daughter's softball team and all of these things, right? You're trying to win everywhere. And because you're trying to win everywhere, you're actually losing. I'm going to start the music so it'll make me start the descent, right? So find out all of the extra fat. Where do you need to declare an L? Where do you need to raise your hands loud and proud and say, you know what? I'm going to hold this L. And there should be a lot of them. You should have way more L's than you have W's. Sometimes people are like, man, I'm trying to improve my finances, Dion. I'm trying to get, how can I get like this? How can I get like that? I'm like, well, first off, how much do you make? They tell me how much they make. I'm like, why do you have that car? Why do you have these kind of clothes? Why? Do you have a good reason? I'm not saying you can't have one. I'm just curious. Why? Maybe it's okay. You need to take some L's with your clothing. Trust me, I've been there. People might swear I'm broke. I wear like 5 shirts and 4 of them are from Walmart. The other one's mine. And soon I'm gonna be a little bit fresher than that because I'm gonna start only wearing my clothes. But I got a lot of shirts from Walmart, and I actually have the one I'm wearing now. It isn't from Walmart. It's from OUR, Operation Underground Railroad. But I got this shirt for free when I donated, and so it's like, I don't know. I'm okay with taking that L. If me taking an L there gives me financial dubs in places where it matters, I'm okay with that. So where do you need to? But there was a point in my life where I wasn't okay with that. Like in college, oh my Lord, I found a way to look fresh. I'd be at the party looking fresh. Don't ask me for gas money though. And I got a ride, unless my mom let me use her car. I looked the part. I wasn't being much though. Based on, although I might have had it. You want more intel on that? If what I just said doesn't really make sense, you need to go to freecreatorcode.com. You're going to get this creator code into you. Learn how you can be the difference so that you can have the difference that you want in your life. We talk about that in detail at freecreatorcode.com. I even give you some free printouts. And by the way, did I mention that it's free? So make sure you guys check that out and make sure you guys get clear on where you need to start sacrificing. And then it's simple. Just cut it. Just cut it. Actually make the sacrifice. If you label something as, you know what, I'm willing to take this L over here. Take the L, man, and be proud about it and watch how the dub starts sprouting up. I love you guys. I hope this blessed you. Again, 5 stars on your listening platform. A written review would mean the world. I love you guys. Stay safe. And until tomorrow, God first. God bless.